Oh, hello.
Excellent.
Thank you. So you were starting to say, I want to talk to the person working on AI native cities because what we're working with the Coherence Company would be one piece of that.
Yes,
And but you started saying you were working on fundraising.
I am. So Modern Ancients is in its sixth year. And so we're in the midst of a bridge round, seed to Series A, but meanwhile already in talks with the Series A. I just got the a little bit more clarity on her timeline, which sounds like May. And we're still navigating the details of how we plug into the fund that they're building. It's called Maker Venture Funds. They're in London, New York, and Dubai. And yeah, AI native smart cities is the thesis. Also, deep tech and future of work.
Amazing.
Um,
Uh, I'm gonna look it up on LinkedIn. Are they on LinkedIn or they're hidden?
they are on LinkedIn.
Maker Future Fund?
Venture Fund, MAKR.
Very cool. Yeah, please, sorry, continue.
So yeah, I'm in talks with Melanie Salvador there, who's a general partner, who's the liaison for the group. They've already got kind of a core primitive software technology they're working on called PureBrain, which is basically an AI agent ecosystem with voice interface. And we're seeing a lot of that, right? I mean, it's kind of now the bread and butter of the new sort of frontier of AI development. And so I really look at it like an accountability layer. And then the work be done really then becomes more cultural. It becomes more about the hyper localized human experience and the way that we produce activations and experiences and ways to create data that's you know authentic to who we are, that enables improving the systems that we've historically not created as well as we could have with the technology in place. And so that's why I think it's so important to create or recreate the infrastructure for traveling to the sacred sites around the world. I was calling it energy expeditions when I was starting to build up that line of thinking. And then I ran into Zachary and he shared more about the fifth fire approach, which I'm going to hear more about at the info session. And it sounds totally in resonance with that, and how we can continue to maintain and preserve these historic sites. There's a company called Quantum Temple who's doing this well, I think. And so I want to get in partnership with them. Um, and I think the way that we've been starting to build up this federated ecosystem of partnerships is through a venture alliance. And so it's almost like the inception of a venture studio, where I mean where it
I should
has.
share with you the idea that I'm working towards of a venture family.
Yeah.
So this is an idea because clearly venture studios have lots of benefits, but they're also it's an industrial factory model of somebody comes up with an idea and nothing bad about it, but I am looking at how can we have those same benefits of being part of a bigger organization whilst being an independent company, but for organizations that come together.
Yes, exactly.
So, like
Yes.
a shared, you can think of it as a cooperative venture studio or something along those lines.
Right. We've been
Because
using co-development agreements. Co-development agreements is how we've phrased it. so that we can maintain interoperability and individuation of each node within the system, right? So then we have a myriad of different brands that can interface with clients, with different communities. Have you heard of the Rendon-Hay model?
No,
People to values.
no, tell me.
It basically looks at, let's say we aim to have like one solid unified group of 500 people, which, we don't, in the old world, that would, there would be like a sort of hierarchy, a vertical hierarchy of 500 people. But the Rendon-Hay model, which is relatively new, is where each node becomes less than 50 people, 15 to 50 people per node in the interoperable ecosystem, all working together across a data layer, right? A digital infrastructure. And so that keeps the hyper locality of
Is
agency
this
and
something that,
authenticity.
is this a theoretical model or is this something that's been deployed or observed in the world?
I have observed it. It originated out of a group called Hire, Haier. And then from what I understand, it was recently picked up by Google.
Cool.
And then, I took it to beyond that into what's making sense for how it's emerging. But yeah, I mean, it's here. And I think what's missing is just the coordination of trust so that we can all be present as this investment comes in and we can get things moving with coordination across the system to improve the experience, to improve the generation of new value systems. So tell me a bit more about Coherence.
So, yeah, with the Coherence Company standing on ROI, standing on three legs. The first is this idea of building AI for collaboration, for sense making, for collective intelligence. Most of the AI work now is either we make you work faster and harder, or we replace you with the machine. But the interesting thing about humans is that we work together, right? Whether it's teams or cities or nations or even as a species, right? Our power is not individual performance, our power is coming together. So how do we build AI that helps this? I've been dreaming for 10 years for building agents for teams. And I think this whole space is super interesting. I think it also ties with impact because a lot of impact is held back not through lack of ideas or even funding, but for lack of coordination of everything.
Yes.
So AI for collaboration is one of our pillars. The other one is this idea of the coherence journey. So we have identified or we propose that there is this journey that any group of humans goes through from discovery, who's here, to connecting, who do I connect with, to converging, who would I want to do something with, to seeding, what can we do, to actually doing it. And if you think about it, it's of course a journey of building trust, connecting with what you said, right? It's a deepening, and there's different kinds of trust, right? I might trust you to be a nice guest at my house.
Everybody has a different trust.
That's very different than the trust of I want to do a business partnership, or so it's a trust building journey. And if you think about it, it's something that happens naturally everywhere. Whether we're parts of two big corporations meeting at a conference, we go through this, or whether it's a bunch of 5-year-olds on a playground, right? We are here. Who's here? Who wants to play what? Who will play with what?
What's the
Right?
difference?
It's a basic negotiation
Corporations,
of
sandbox.
along this line. But if you think about it in the world at large, once you are ready to do something, you have a team, ideally some customers, and all of these incubators, accelerators. There's this whole world of support. At the start, there is some. I mean, okay, we have an overabundance of connections, whether it's LinkedIn or a conference with thousands of people. Okay, it's not well filtered, but there is an overabundance of connections. But in between, there's like, where's the scaffolding that helps people go through from I made a contact to deepening the relationship to we're doing something together. And I think a huge amount of potential is lost there. And business is one thing, civil society, right? Like we no longer coordinate in a neighborhood, right? I'm sure everybody around here would get together and do something just because it's nice to talk to neighbors, but we've lost this coordination layer.
In a lot of places, yeah.
In a lot of places, of course, not everywhere, but everywhere it's rapidly accelerating, this loss.
It's an important problem to push on generally if there's any selling to push on as a problem factor, it's that, right? Because it's, I mean, in a way, kind of simple at the same time, right? It's like we just need to get together, coordinate, align strategically.
Kind of simple, just
our
need
minds,
to get
our
people
mental model.
To talk and work together. And unfortunately, the last crop of powerful AI technology unleashed on society, i.e., social media, worked in the other direction. Right? As I like to describe it, social media, we wanted to sell more ads. Oops, we broke democracy. Sorry. Except I'm not sure if they're sorry. So this idea of, yeah, how do we build the scaffolding and support people on this journey from finding each other towards collaboration? So that's the second leg. And the third leg of what we're working on is building events and experiences rather than platforms. So I like to talk about this Bermuda Triangle. Where's my camera? Of on the one hand, you have tech people who love to build platforms. I'm going to build this platform. The whole world will use my platform, and it's all going to be so amazing. How will the whole world use your platform? I don't know. Growth hacking, marketing, somebody else's problem. Then you have experienced people, events designers, retreats, or even like yourself, pilgrimages. I think in a way where you're designing pilgrimages that are usually very good at beginning, end, transition, transformation, experience journey, but are generally not good at technology. Definitely not at thinking of how to design technology for that. The only people in the world who are really good at designing technology for experience, for taking people through journeys, and all of this, you're nodding. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Oh, I don't know what you're going to say, but I resonate with doing that.
Yeah. So the only people that are really good at experience and tech are game designers, because that's what games are. They take you through an experience using digital means, but they only know how to suck us out of the real world. Right?
Yeah.
So who I see this Bermuda Triangle of emptiness, of designing software to take people on experiences to bring them together and connect them in the real world.
Right.
So that's where we're aiming at with the Coherence Company. And working this way, I really see it as, because it might sound like I scoff at platforms. I love platforms, but I'm just frustrated they're not taking off in the world.
I am 100% on the same page too. I think having a platform is going to become more ubiquitous. Like we have these sort of big players test the field, and it's, in a way, we didn't have enough social media. We didn't have enough of these creations in a way that they basically don't take the forefront of what we're all really trying to get at, which is accountability across coordination to ensure trust and flow of finances and baseline essential needs to create the upward economic mobility while doing the things we love, which is getting to know each other better and traveling and experiencing new things. And so, I mean, yeah, it's just obvious when you really peel apart like all of the technical engineering factors in it.
Yeah, it is kind of obvious. At the same time, if you look at so much of modernity, it's designed around making us humans into machines. You know, you work 50 weeks a year, 5 days a week. Like, I mean, that's a machine. Human beings are shitty at that, right? One week I can work 16 hours a day for 7 days because something is moving and it's the flow, and I'm like, go, go, go. And another week, I just want to sleep most of the week or be in the garden or whatever, because that's the natural thing, right? This is how we were in nature. We had cycles.
Right. Yeah, we were more
So that humans are human and that humans are animals and that we actually have cycles and seasons and nature, it's clearly
and I
obvious.
would say there's so I we have this group called the Seekers Society, which I'm continuing to be a layer of
Oh,
campaign. We're really what we're studying all of different philosophical layers. And one thing we studied is a Russian philosopher who specifically talked about the human as a machine and really targeted the sort of mechanistic modalities like habit that we get into, and like sort of like we're like droned into this machine of. And so it was really, it's just eye-opening because I think there is that part of it when we think about the impression that the systems that we live within, and even the reference groups of people that we cohere with, right? You get this cadence, you get this movement. And so how do we create the movement in a way that it's the kind of lifestyle that we want to live, where the mechanism is in alignment? And I think why you're pointing to nature is because it is in alignment with nature that coherence emerges clarity from what felt like fractalization.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean, nature is on one side, if you look at the details, it's also messy. On the other hand, what emerges is so harmonious and so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of, I never thought about it that way. So yeah, that's the Coherence Company, and we have an MVP of this Coherence Conversations. So that's the UI we started before. Sorry, it didn't work. And the idea is you can think of it as the conversation, like the one we're having now, as the interface to the AI. So
Okay.
the AI is together with us in the field, and something that we're working on is how to create a vocabulary and a mental model that not just, I don't want people's consent, I want their excitement to participate in co-creating and co-training, nurturing together this AI field, whether it's around an event or it's a standalone thing. And then does the synthesis, collective sense making, matchmaking, and so on and so forth. So we really focused on the user experience. And one part is that your interface to the AI is a conversation with another human being. So I think it's one of the more engaging things that you can have. And the other part is we're working on an AI agent that takes people through the process, through the experience.
Cool. Yeah, we're I think we're on the same page. And I guess what I'm interested to hear from you, and we'll share more from my side of things too, like how do you see this infrastructure, because it is very relational based infrastructure, um, contributing to, if at all, because we are oriented to design innovation. And so I was on the talk with the Mamos group, which felt really like they had just like read my profile. uh, because we were talking about, how do we approach innovation, if at all? And so taking from that sort of inner to outer approach to like, what do we actually need to change? Is it ourselves, or is there something that we've created externally that we can adapt? And so our organization is really set up to, yes, connect and cohere to ensure that we trust and are aligned. And especially like we've taken care of our bodies and our minds in a way that we can see the world so that we can experience it, but maybe sometimes improve it in ways that, you know, are relevant to some of our clients. Do you all think about that, like to that level of engagement at all? Or is it more about sort of tribe building and relationship building focused for
So
events and activations?
with the Coherence Company, I mean, we see ourselves as being on the one hand a tool builder, on the other hand a consulting and service company that also has a portfolio of other products that we know and we can help people use. So I mean, we have our own general inner sense of being regenerative, wanting to work for a protopian future, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, we're a tool builder. So our goal is to work with clients, tool builder and service provider. Our goal is to work with clients and help them figure out, given what they're doing now, how could they apply these new AI tools to enhance what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So we could figure out, it sounds like some sort of methodological approach to, be it residencies, whether they're virtual or on location for our clients.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. What I think would be, I need to learn more about what you're doing, of course. But the idea of coherence conversations is exactly that, if you have people coming together for some in-person experience, you can set them up to connect. Before that, have a one-on-one conversation with some of the participants. Of course, not everybody with everybody, that's not needed, but even everybody having conversation with one or two, a guided conversation, because the question's guided. You know, what are your goals? What do you hope to get out of it? And not just as filling out a form, because one of my fundamental beliefs is nobody woke up this morning on this planet saying, I really want to fill out some forms today, right? But we want these profiles and we need these profiles in order to be able to interconnect. So here, wow, that's beautiful.
I was
Yeah.
going to share this is like one, so we have this thing called the Core Flow program, which is just like you mentioned, having the sort of like discovery. Ours goes discovery. Here, I'm going to show you actually our little graph, because I've actually been working with MetaMyth, Zachary, on how he can layer into the earliest stage. And depending on the client, it sounds like, you know, each of us kind of has an early stage for the engagement. Hold on a sec. Let me find this. But one example of how we packaged this project service targeting the, oh, can you see this? Engagements activate. Hold on. Yeah, this is kind of the flow that we have. So can you see this? Old world, new world. So we move from diagnosis, discovery, definition, design, development, deployment, and diffusion. It's basically, you know, a transformational project with pathway discernment to realize when do we build something, when do we prototype something, or when do we bring in an application that we already have in our network stack that can be useful to our client, right? And so we're compounding value of sales across every engagement. with high growth startups, innovation-led legacy corporations. We've created these journey consultants, which is how we have a conversation with subject matter experts, domain expertise. So, for example, I have one journey consultant in healthcare. I have one journey consultant in nonprofits. I have another journey consultant. And so, there's domain expertise that we basically create this shadow board where we mirror the infrastructure of a center of excellence within the corporations that we serve so that we can discover through transformation, innovation, or change management, or some kind of activation where they go on a retreat in a residency and learn about
At
leadership.
what stage of development is this? Because this is a very big project.
I know. Well, we've been developing it since 2019. I started it just before COVID hit. And so
this is operating in some shape or form.
it is, yes.
Amazing.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, we're in talks for the Series A, and that's kind of our stage of maturity right now. But yeah, it's about surfacing signals, immersion, model systems, like where we can bring leadership together at these sites and attune to a better understanding of who we are. So we've got core flow, but then we've got signals to simulations to spin outs, which is kind of like the 3-prong mobilization effort from what's the current state of the organization, and then what is the future state, and how do we get there? We've got 3. Place is big. Place-based brand transformation, if you've ever heard of this concept.
No, I mean, I've heard of place, but not brand transformation.
Basically, we travel with intention. I mean, it's about ensuring a regenerative economy so that we give back wherever we go and we don't just extract. And so we've got place-based brand transformation, which looks at the spirit of place. It looks at the residual essence of the community that embodies the community within any given place. And that attunement, when we incept a project, allows us to, what I was saying earlier, become hyper local. We get hyper local, attuned to the actual needs. One example of this that I'm on with Zachary actually is a project called the Ecological Impact Fund, that's asking for us to go on the journey of supporting the lowest class of society, anybody who's making less than $7,000 a year, because it has the least infrastructure. It's in rural environments that aren't cities, basically. And these are communities that have needs just like any others. And as the world changes, we want to bring them up as well. Some, indigenous communities have their ways that are different than the ways of those in San Francisco, right? Where the academia and sort of intellectual rigor is an entirely different representation of nature and our coherence to it as a society. And so these differences all have to be examined in the context of the spirit of place. And that's where we see the fifth fire being a perfect alignment to this effort, and even coherence. I mean, all of these things are converging, and so many great partnerships are coming together. Just like the whole stack is here. So I'm like, I'm trying to get 40 million, but it could be more. And it sounds like maybe by May we're gonna have this. And I'm trying to invest in people like yourself and many others who have been coming together to mobilize all of this because yeah, it's a huge project. It's gonna need at least 15 to 50 people for this sort of first cohort of growth expanse. So you're on mute.
Yeah, that's really amazing. 200 billion invested into AI, and still the euro on mute is a perennial problem. Right? I mean, every day, every day. I don't know. I'm slowly,
Right.
I'm like, I'm going through my frustrated with the world stage and slowly going into acceptance. But it makes me wonder.
I love
Uh,
it. No, I mean, it's always, there's always something, right? There's always a little something we could work on to improve what we're really getting at. It's like
but I love your vision.
push is always there.
I love the vision. I mean, I started this venture family idea last year, put it out there. There was good response. So would love to have, if you look at it, maybe we can have a separate conversation just around it and explore it together because I've done a chunk of thinking about how it might work and some of the ideas might
Sure.
be interesting to you. But yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I think this idea that alone we are weak and stupid, just so the way I pitch it is that just as individually human beings are weak and stupid in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things, so companies by themselves, especially startups and small companies, are individually weak and stupid. And there is so much, and especially in the alternative, let's build a better future world where we're not just trying to build another extractive da da da, but we would like the organization to be a holistic thing. But that's just not possible to do with 3 people, 5 people, or probably not even with 50 people, right? I mean, if you have Google scale resources, you can make a holistic company, but we
Right.
don't want to build a Google style company. But I think if you
No.
get a bunch of organizations and then you work together, you can have this kind of distributed, HR is a dirty word, but you can have distributed human care. Different organizations can have be experts at one part of the organization building stack, right?
Yes.
This one organization, they were really great at conflict resolution. Somebody else is really great at goal setting. Somebody else is really great at communications. And then we kind of share resources. We learn from each other. We support each other. We mentor each other. That kind
Yes.
of family environment. And
Right.
I think this also means fundraising together. So it's great that you're already on the fundraise.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Uh, and then building towards interoperability. That's what I spent a good chunk of last
Right.
year thinking about. And then I switched to, well, I would like to have a company that's in the family. And also what we're building with the Coherence Company is generally needed. So working
Yes.
on that. But I was looking at it and my number was, and of course, this is not what you start with, but the number that I was looking at was 250 million just out of how much does it cost to get a foundational technology out into the world. And there is this Mondeo, something new blockchain, Ethereum compatible, blah, blah, blah. So actually, I mean, as a business, and I'm sure the details of the technology are exciting, but it's not innovative in the sense it's just an Ethereum compatible blockchain. But they raised 250 million.
I
So
know. It's like
for all
the
of its
possibility.
flaws, and I am not, I mean, I had high hopes at the start, but then kind of lost my faith. So I'm not a huge fan of where Web3 has ended up, but I think they have
Right.
definitely shown at what it takes to get foundational technologies out into the world.
Mhm.
my vision, what we started talking about region OS last year, and I think we need the whole protocol stack. So there's people working, if we're talking tech, we need a distributed trust graph. We
I
need
have
distributed
part
social
of that.
networks. Yeah.
I have something called sovereign provenance that is a new accountability layer. It's actually a non-tokenized infrastructure
Cool. Are you
protocol.
talking with Alelo and Ruben?
Not yet.
Because they're working on parts of this. I think
Yeah,
most of what we need, if not all, is technologically, at least in prototype, if already not developed. It's tying it all together, all the way up to vertically an applicable set of software that's useful to regular people. And by regular people, I mean the teenager with a smartphone in a slum or in a refugee camp,
right.
right? Something that's useful to that bottom 4 billion humans.
Right.
That's what's missing. And that's where I think the big fundraise and the integration and working at all levels of the stack is necessary.
I agree. Yep. Would love to chat with them more. Sovereign provenance has been being built for the last year, and so it's ready to. I've only just started kind of sharing about it in little bits. Um, if you go on LinkedIn, you'll see that it's one of the pages available there to read about. But I've been cautious because I think part of the reality today with the accelerated pace of generative artificial intelligence and my agreement with you that the bigger investment we get, the better off we're going to be collectively, because these sort of not only to make fast moves and build it right for as a protocol layer, especially, right? Like the sort of technological sophistication of that is going to require a hefty group of engineers to make it what it is, and even just considering the compute and ongoing management of that much data, uh the cost is going to be the kind of thing we want to immediately have defensibility and a moat to also create optical an impression on the market, right? That's saying we are here to take care of this space. We are on this. I think that's important. And so later this week, I'm meeting with Mel, and I'm wondering maybe if you would want to join that talk. Because yeah, I've been targeting a 40 million, but they're looking at a 1.5 billion dollar raise for the fund, which means there's more up for grabs if we can convince them.
Yeah, I mean, look, the pitch that I mean, I'm in early stages and kind of at the sidelines, but the mental exercise, let's say, that I would love for us all to have in the back of our mind is what technology do we need to build to enable 1 billion humans to live a regenerative life, which means a regenerative livelihood, a regenerative community, all of those things, right? What
Yeah.
is the full technology stack? And 1 billion humans sounds like, oh my God, that's so big, but that's the size of Facebook, that's the size of Google, that's the size of a bunch of other things which have come up over the last 25 years.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, I'm calling it a new accountability layer because as we are downloading our brains and how we think into large language models, I want to protect people. I want people to have sovereignty over their lineage of thinking, over their unique origin, over the craft of their essence and their being. And so when we think about the current infrastructure of intellectual property management in the United States, we have the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and it takes months to and $500 to apply to cover your intellectual property. but the speed at which we're creating and producing in this new world value, and the sort of paradigm shift of understanding the inherent value of every human being, especially those in the lower class that we're talking about, and that 4 billion, it's that's where I see the technology coming into play at a protocol layer. It's the ability to maintain the integrity of origins and lineage.
Uh, yeah, and I think that's exciting. What I am excited about is how to help people get their voice out and how to help people coordinate and collaborate better. Uh, I mean, I'm more radical in the sense I think ownership of ideas in general is a very it's a specific idea, and I think we're all channeling from the source. And especially when you get AI sense making from bigger groups, I think it becomes very, very hard. But I see the value and importance of that in certain contexts. Uh, for me, it's about how do we build? So my background is, for reference, as a technologist. I had a degree in computer science. I spent 10 years in software development. And then I started seeing that the actual real problems are on the human side and the interesting ones, and started looking at that. For 10 years now, I've been dreaming about having AI agents. 10 years ago, I was in the teal for startups, reinventing organizations, non-hierarchical organizations kind of idea space, did some organizing there. And ever since then, I've been, first of all, wow, this is how I want to work and organize. Second of all, oh my God, the amount of retraining and detraining, and it's just not viable for the average group that's just trying to get stuff done. So the only way we're going to scale the new ways of working is if we can have AI agents that support, coach, mentor, facilitate, guide people through more effective ways of working together. Since then, COVID has
Right.
happened, fractional remote work. I've been working remotely for 20 years. I'm also at the edge that way.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and I think I see a huge opportunity. I also, where I am at is, of course, as a technologist, I don't believe technology is fundamentally evil, but I think it's also historically not, right? At the same time, what I think has been proven without a shade of doubt with social media is that technology has a gradient, if not intentional, if not thought through, it has a certain set of behaviors that it pushes people for in a hidden way, right? Nobody opens up, Instagram when you open it, doesn't say, hate yourself, you're inferior, go kill yourself. And yet that is the result for many people, many youth. So there is a gradient that the technology pushes you towards unintentionally. I believe we can create an intentional gradient that just generally, like, we roll down towards more pro-social, more collaborative behaviors. And I would really love to use this to Trojan horse the more pro-social, positive. And I don't believe it's inventing anything new, right? I think all of human society is magnifying things that are within us anyways. And we can magnify hatred, division, separation, domination, all of those negatives, or we can multiply love, collaboration, equality. These are all characteristics that human beings are capable of clearly. And society and culture and now technology can guide us to manifest more strongly one set of behaviors or another.
I
And
agree.
I would love to be on the side and the other side, right? There is the side that has understood this and is working super hard on surveillance, domination, and other technologies. because they have understood that the algorithm guides society. So I would really like the pro-social, the more loving kindness side to also invest and show that technology actually getting people to work together out of purpose and connection and happiness in the long run is much more effective. It's much more
I agree.
efficient.
Which means we need to get further and further away from these devices, but also see the device in a new way. And so that's what I agree. Like I see sovereign provenance as enabling our ability to still have these devices for accountability, where we can actually then be able to interface through voice and not have to actually hold on to these things. And so that it becomes all about the human experience as it should be, instead of us sitting at a desk like we are now. um, you know, I
Yeah.
think I don't look at it as surveillance in the way that media has portrayed and movies have portrayed surveillance, but I do see using tech for capturing sensory experience so that we can explore our understanding of the movement of nature and life, and not have to, like, imagine if we didn't have to use bank cards, or we didn't have to use secure systems, because we made what is inherent to human experience so naturally present that we didn't have to think about that. We don't have to walk down the street in the city and be concerned that something's going to be stolen off of our person, or what, it's, and so I think there's a lot of dissonance, especially in that area of this surveillance, uh and like this kind of thinking that there's only a duality of what could be. Like, it's either going to be one or the other. I think it's always been love. It's always been this radial environment from each of us. And that is what unlocks the radial environment of the earth and our sensory perception of the moon and the sun and the cosmos and the way that we intertwine at all times and all of it. And technology is just one part of that nature. Oh, do we have somebody joining?
I don't know.
Hi.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
Which meeting are you here for?
The Gathering Portugal.
I believe on my calendar that's in a few hours. Is it starting now?
I
In
took
my calendar, it
note.
was an hour from now.
Oh, okay. Um,
Yes, it
Nice to see
then,
says
you.
5 p.m. on the Luma page.
oh, is it 5 p.m. Portugal time?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was CET. Okay, I'll join again in an hour.
Yeah. See you then.
Sorry, ciao.
Thanks. Yeah,
I went to Portugal
Portugal is
a
nice. All
couple years
right,
ago.
cool. So, I think we have a lot of value and idea alignment. What's the next step? I mean, have a look through the venture family
Yeah.
concept node, and if it looks interesting, let's have a conversation about it. And yeah, whatever there that can be of value to your work, I would love to contribute that. With the Coherence Company, yeah, so we're developing a community of practice of people that are working on Coherence Journey, so moving groups to action. You're welcome to join that. And then I think it'd be cool to explore how, I mean, we're a month or two away from being able to beta, but we're rapidly going in the direction to explore how the coherence conversations that we're developing and other partners that we have could fit into what you're working on.
I mean, I almost see it like a team layer. Like if it could be the interface for every venture alliance conversation, we're building more coherence as a collective. But yeah, I will look at more of this documentation and think about it a little bit more. Thanks so much for your time. It's great to meet you, Victor.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it definitely so the difference is it's designed for conversation, not co-working, right? So it's dialogue guided with questions. So you get to program what questions are. And in the context where that's useful, then it becomes, Socratic dialogue at scale.
I like that. Yeah, I want to get away from using forms, from having Zoom meetings that are more like co-working. I'd much rather just have a sort of ongoing stream of consciousness, open conversation access portal that allows us to continue building coherence across the group, because that's where we don't lose momentum. We don't have this sort of construct of structure that disables the flow. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean the structure there is the questions, but of course questions have no power over you. So it's an invitation.
Governance.
And I think having the conversation kind of anchored around questions will enable much better synthesis and sense making for the AI, right? This is the question. This is what everybody answered to it, right? It'll give it hopefully enough structure that it's rich, but not so much structure that makes participation in it annoying.
No, I think, governance, prompt engineering, the ability for us to navigate the LLM in context of every question answered is going to improve overall navigability through the insights generated. So it makes sense.
Great. All right. Well, wonderful to talk, and let's continue, I guess, on LinkedIn or where it's convenient.
Um, let's jump to WhatsApp. What's your number there? If I search your name, maybe I can find it.
I sent you on LinkedIn. It's 351-916-676-834.
Sorry, hold on. Here we go. Say that number one more time.
351-916-676-834.
All right. And I got the link for the venture family in LinkedIn, but I will start chatting over here with you more, and I'll stay in touch.
Wonderful. Looking forward to what we can make happen. And yeah, I mean, that call, feel free to invite me. I'll see how it fits in my calendar, and whatever way I can, yeah, please share some of these materials. And yeah, would love to be.
Can you join? It sounds like you're in a, well, no, you're not. Maybe you are. Later this afternoon is the Fifth Fire info session from 4 to 5. I could ask Eduardo. Are you friends with Eduardo?
I mean, I know Eduardo, and I was on the Fifth Fire thing in Colombia, so I'm loosely associated. But what is the question?
If you would like to join the info
Yeah,
session.
no, I mean, I was there, and I kind of circled in about being closer involved, but it wasn't the right timing. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm definitely following, and I'm on all of the WhatsApp groups there.
Good.
Cool.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll keep you posted later this week when that meeting continues.
Sounds great. All right.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.